Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Juan Cristales. I'm a full-time real estate investor here in the Texas market, and we are building duplexes. Now, check this out, man. We just got the concrete poured. I'm a little bit behind on putting these videos up, mostly because we've got a lot of bad weather. We've been having to go around in some of the vacant properties and just basically drain out the water, winterize them, make sure that we have no issues. But anyway, long story short, we are now at the point where we have these properties. The concrete driveways are in. Shortly after that happens, we want to go ahead and do something called the final grade. I'm going to tell you why the final grade is so important. When the guys are coming in and they are basically clearing up the land so that there's no big humps and lumps all over the place, what we're doing is we're using this bobcat here. And as you can see here, you see how we have all these little lines here. The reason we do that is so that we have a natural slope away from the property. So that way when it rains, the water just naturally flows away. And that is something that needs to be done in new construction, because over the course of time, what happens is the rain comes down and it starts to hit here. And basically it creates a little bit of a trench, believe it or not. It creates a little bit of a trench right in here, and you don't want water sitting very, very close to the house. So what we do is we ask this guy to basically come out here and do this, this thing called the final grade. And so basically what he does is just try to create a natural slope away from the house and just flattens everything out if there's any lumps. Why would you have lumps in the driveway or in and around the property? It's very simple. So the guys that are going to be doing the driveway, what they do is they, take out some of the dirt and they just kind of put it to the side because it just needs to, move out of the way so that they can do this. So if you can see here, we have a culvert. So this little culvert, there's like a tube right there. We have approximately 10 inches right here of concrete, crushed concrete, so on and so forth. So all that extra dirt, they just put on the side. They just put on the side here, anywhere, wherever they can fit it. And so what this guy does is basically takes that dirt, just kind of just spreads it around, flattens it around so that it's not in the way. Now, one second. Now, the very next part of this whole entire project is really to get the sod delivered. So I'm kind of on a tight timeline. This is a few days ago already. And so essentially what we did is, get the final grade completed. And then once that was done, we had the sod delivered that same afternoon. And then we scheduled the sod guys to actually install the following morning. So, this stuff here, the guy that we work with is super, super awesome, man. And what we do is just ask him to just spread it around, so it makes it easier for the guys who are going to be installing. And the installation of the sod is just basically by hand, right? So they just pick these up and just put them down one at a time. If you've never done this kind of work, man, this is pretty brutal work, doing all this stuff. But here we are. He's just sending me pictures of all the pallets of sod that they dropped off. And there it is. So it's really cool. So now, one of the rules of thumb that we typically try to stick to when it comes to this stuff is like, man, it's going to be a lot of sod to put all in this little area here, okay? It is quite a bit of sod. And so it's going to cost a lot more money to do that. That's what I'm trying to get at. And so what we typically do is we go out from the property here, from where the actual structure is, and we go out approximately 10 feet and we call it even. That's it. Like, that's enough, all right? We don't have to do that. Now, the price point that we're in is not such a significantly high price point where we would have to sod the entire thing. If these are $1 million, condos, duplexes, whatever you want to call them, like, yeah, I could understand that. I could see it. But we're at an entry-level price point for a lot of, landlords, or for whatever we're going to be doing if we're going to keep these properties, okay? So for that reason, we don't, sod all the way out. Now, as you can see right here, this is a good picture that'll show you now that it's the finished product. You can see right here on the right-hand side where some of it didn't quite, fit. You see that little area right there? Eventually, it's going to grow out there. It's not a big deal. I'm not really 100% concerned about it. The city is okay with it because we have sufficient amount of sod all the way around the house. That's exactly what they want. Now, if we only had like 2 or 3 rows of this stuff, they would say, no, that's insufficient. So as you can see here, we have approximately 10 feet, maybe more like 12 feet, but that works for the purposes of what we're trying to accomplish here. And these guys are sending me pictures saying, hey, man, we're done with the job. Is this good? Everything's good. So, man, everything's looking fantastic. So this is where we are so far. Now, at this point here, we are calling in for the air conditioning inspection, what we already passed, which is all the final stuff, right? We're talking about the grills have to be in, the machines have to be in, everything's done. the final electrical inspection, the final plumbing inspection, and now we have to do something called a blower door test. So we're waiting right now for the weather to be a little bit better because it's really, really bad right now here in the Houston, greater Houston area. And so we're waiting to do the blower door test. That is going to be something else. I'm going to talk to you guys about that in a future video as part of this entire series. But we can go ahead and get the inside of these things getting cleaned up. These ones are going to be cleaned up. We can get the insulation in the attic. And basically we can start scheduling the final. One of the things, as you can see, is there's no paint. We wait for the paint typically because of this here. You see this orange stuff? I mean, and this is what's really crazy about this, guys, is that these houses have already been power washed. While we still had good weather, we went ahead and got this stuff power washed, but you can see right there, clear as day, the orange stain. And it doesn't matter the color of the paint that you put on the walls, it's going to continue to stain. So what we do is we hold off on painting, just hold off and hold off until the sod is in. Now that the sod is in, we can go ahead and just paint this, and you won't be able to see it because, you know, it'll be primer. And then on top of that will be the final paint color that's going to be going on there. And then we should be good to go. We're going to be doing a blue and probably like a gray, bluish color here on the other side, just as an accent. Anyways, it's going to look fantastic. At the end of the day, guys, you know, these are just some little small tips and tricks that are very, very tactical in terms of what we try to accomplish whenever we do these new construction duplexes. Because yes, I have been in a situation where we've gone ahead and painted the exterior only to have to pay to have it retouched up and repainted again because it rains and because there is no sod and there's no driveway. The rain comes down and then it just splashes back onto the house, and it causes these issues that you see here where it stains the siding. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. Thanks so much for watching. The next one is going to be the blower door test. We're going to get this thing painted up once the weather is nice enough to be able to do it, and I will catch you guys up later. Thanks.